good to get back. I would say that it's good to get back and try to pick up on some of the momentum that we had before. Obviously, the Portland game didn't go as planned, but after that, I think, and before that, we've been playing some good basketball. So hopefully we can continue that tonight. I think I've talked about it over and over throughout, sessions post game. Just speaking of just the chemistry side and what liners are going to start, what games are going to finish, or and obviously, sometimes you're going to have. When guys are in and out of lineups, things of that nature. But for the majority of it, when it comes to injuries, we haven't been on the good side of it. The last couple of years, last year and a half. So it's good to see that. Right now we feel pretty good, and guys are looking forward to get out and see how much momentum we can pick up with this lineup.
I feel like we have to knock on some wood now that LeBron James is saying the Lakers are fully healthy. Welcoming in Zach Lowe, newly re-signed with the Sparks. Chiney Ogwumike, Vince Carter, and Kendrick Perkins, our soon-to-be best-selling author. I'm speaking it into existence. So that's what LeBron James had to say just a couple of minutes ago. Perk, what do you think of a fully healthy Lakers team? How dangerous is that with their new additions?
Well, first of all, I had to take another look to make sure I was looking at it right. LeBron is averaging 38 and 7. That's crazy in itself. But you know what? This team right here, with the way that D'Angelo Russell has been playing since January, even when he was with the Minnesota Timberwolves, the addition of Jared Vanderbilt, they have everything and more, in my opinion. The only thing in question is the health of Anthony Davis. But when it comes down to the Western Conference, it's a few teams that don't want to see this Laker team. And thank God for the play-in tournament. It was the best thing that the NBA could possibly do. And so when I'm looking at it right now, they just have to go on, a 5 or 6 game winning streak, what they're capable of doing, and get into the play-in to get into the postseason. This team will be dangerous. They will be the most dangerous 8th seed in NBA history, in my opinion, if they get into the playoffs, which I think they will.
And Perk, if they do go on a 5-game winning streak, they can go from 13th to almost 8th to 7th, possibly even 6th, which means you don't even have to do the play-in. But what I really like about this Lakers, new addition, this new look squad, is that they have depth. Finally, they have depth. They have more ability to spread the minutes in the rotation. And most importantly, over the last, 5 games, they're 9th in defensive rating. Defense is what makes the Lakers successful under LeBron James. That's what they won their championship under in 2020 in the bubble. It was the top 1 or 2 defense. And the fact that their defense is improving, they have more players to add in the rotation that can really spread the floor. It seems like they're building the right momentum. And I think LeBron James set the table saying, hey, these next 23 games are the most important that we've played so far this year, and they are really built to make a push.
Right. Zach, where do you fall on all this?
Well, look, momentum, 5-game winning streaks. The Lakers are 27 and 32. Not a lot of teams that are 27 and 32 just okay, we're going to go on a 5-game winning streak now. That's a 5th of their total wins for the whole season.
Yeah.
And I understand they're a totally new team with the subtraction of Russell Westbrook, D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley. They're a team that makes sense now. They didn't make sense before. They make sense now. I just have to see it for a week before I start projecting 6th, 5th, 7 out of 8. They're 13th right now. I just need to win tonight, and then we can start talking about it. Yeah, they make sense. I think they have some questions to answer about their defense. I think it's interesting they're starting Vanderbilt and Davis together. To me, that signals we're willing to sacrifice a little bit of spacing, a little bit of offense, because we think that's our only roadmap to having a good enough defense to win some games. But, they got to win some games before we start discussing them as this scary 7th or 8th seed.
To add to that is that other teams are going to go on win streaks, and they have to get through these next 3 games first. They're playing Dallas. They're going to see Golden State a couple of times. They're going to see Memphis a couple of times. So, yeah, I have to just see where they are. I think, 75% of their games they're going to have to win. So that's 15 to 17 games, somewhere in there to beat. But, to get to 6, that's asking a lot. Yeah, you see the next 3 Warriors?
Yeah.
Mavericks, Grizzlies. They already lost to the Thunder.
Right.
So it's just, you're asking a lot here.
Essentially, their next 7 games, are all against teams that are in front of them in the standings. And we've seen it before. Well, who is it? The Knicks. They got to the finals as the 8th seed. So it's not impossible, but Perk's face says differently.
Yeah, it does, because in a locker room, right, when you're 5 games below 500, the only thing that you're thinking about is chipping away a little bit at a time. And so you're saying, hey, let's just get to 500. And once we get to 500, what's our next goal? This is probably what they're saying in the locker room. Like, let's take baby steps. Let's not look too far down the line, but look, we are 27-32. Let's get to even. Let's get us to the point where we're at a 500 team, and then we could just continue to build from there. That's why I said go on the 5-game winning streak, Zach. These are the conversations that you have in the locker room when you're trying to, that when the pressure is on.
I mean, their path just isn't easy, right? At the end of the day, that's what it is. They're 2 games back and need to jump 3 teams to make the play-in. Our analytics give them about a 51% chance of doing that. 34% chance to make the playoffs overall. But I want to dive into this matchup tonight a little bit more. And to do that, we have our team reporters with us. Kendra Andrews covering the Warriors, Dave McMenamin covering the Lakers. Dave, I want to start with you because you were at the Lakers practice facility as we speak. You heard from LeBron James this morning. What did you learn?
Malika, LeBron kept things pretty close to the chest today. I mean, some days you can tell he wants to talk, others, like today, pretty tight-lipped. But the one thing that caught my eye was his smile when asked about Darvin Ham, saying that he's sticking with the same starting 5 that we saw prior to the break in that win against the Pelicans. The Lakers have played 59 games so far this season. They've had 30 different starting lineups, the most in the league. And LeBron said this is something he's talked about time and time again in post-game press conference scenarios, how they've shuffled through different starting lineups, different closing lineups. He feels like this is a good starting point for this final stretch. Again, not just the most 23 important games of the season. LeBron said over the weekend, the 23 most important games of his regular season career. He put himself out there. Darvin Ham put the team out there saying they want to get the 6th seed or higher. I asked LeBron about that goal. He said, hey, it's good to set goals and have something to strive for.
And then on the other side, the Warriors, it hasn't exactly been an easy season for them, Kendra. And Steph Curry's still out since he has been since early February with that foot injury. When might we see him back for Golden State?
Well, Malika, the Warriors say he's making good progress. He actually started individual on-court work just a couple days ago, but he's going to get reevaluated in 1 week, which means he's going to miss the next 4 games at least. That's tonight against the Lakers and back home against Houston, against the Timberwolves, against Portland. So there's no real timeline yet because that's just a reevaluation date. And what the team is saying is it is really important for him to be as close to healthy as possible before he gets back out on the court. Because unlike that shoulder injury from earlier in the year, where they just said, we need to get to a point where you just won't re-injure it, right? Where you're not as high as at risk when you're on the court. But because we're dealing with ligaments here, you can't go on an 80% ligament. It has to be 100% or else he might injure himself worse. And through these last 24 games, they're trying to make a push. They want to get out of that play-in into the playoffs, and they want him in the playoffs.
This is the time. Help is coming, but it's coming potentially a little bit slowly. Dave, thank you so much. Kendra, please do not go too far. I want to bring Zach Lowe back into this conversation because, Zach, we've talked about a whole lot of confusing teams this year. I got to put the Warriors up there as a team that we've said over and over, all right, now's the time they're going to get right. All right, here come the Warriors. And time again, it's been like, what is going on? What do you make of all of that?
Yeah, in my 12 or 13 years of covering the NBA, I think this Warriors team is the single most baffling team that I can remember. All the numbers, or most of them, say this is a good team. Their starting lineup is one of the best 5-man lineups in the NBA. Their core bench groups, the guys that they've settled on as their key reserves, even without Curry on the floor, they have good scoring margins. You should be a good team. You should be a winning team. And yet, they're not a winning team. They're 500. They can't beat anybody on the road. It seems like they can't put together 2 consecutive good quarters, let alone 2 consecutive good games. The numbers and the record just don't match up. Even their record with Curry is not even that much better than it is in the games he's missed. And he's missed almost 20 games now, and they've hovered around 500 in those 20 games. I keep waiting for the numbers to translate into wins, and they don't. And I honestly don't understand why. Some of it is health, and I think a key guy we haven't talked about enough is Andrew Wiggins. When they were playing well at the start of the season and they had like an 8-2, 9-2 stretch, he looked like the guy who made the All-Star team last year, the guy who was their second best player in the finals. We haven't seen that guy, that two-way force, since he got injured and missed about a month of the season. They need that Andrew Wiggins about that, not quite as much as they need Curry, but almost as much to kind of lock their team together. Maybe that's what we're waiting on, just good health. I don't know. They're a baffling group.
And Andrew Wiggins is not with the team.
He's not with the team right now with a family matter, and there's no timetables when he's going to come back. But Zach's absolutely right. He's been a key player that helped them get to the finals and win a title last year, and he hasn't been the same version of himself.
Oh, and that's what LeBron James was saying is good about the Lakers right now. He feels like, okay, we're fully healthy. Let's see what we got. We haven't gotten to that point with the Golden State Warriors yet. Kendra, thank you so much. I will be stealing that dress from you.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.